Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it is Wednesday, April 29th, our last show for April 2026, and that's already hard to believe. Here at the Fifth Dimension Studios in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, and with it being Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, you know what that means.
It's 10-cent beer night.
10-cent beer night, the official sports show, FifthDimensionRadio.com, every Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Fifth Dimension Radio and WOAH TV. So, what?
AOH.
AOH, excuse me. So, I'm still getting used to that. So, pardon my mishaps here. But I am overall in a joyous move overall. I mean, because this past weekend, if you would have told me it was the Browns and not the Cavaliers that were going to bring us the most joy this past weekend, I would have said, I half hope you're right, half hope you're wrong, but obviously we got our way on one thing and not the other. But we will start off real quick addressing the NFL draft that just happened this past weekend in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh had the biggest turnout in NFL draft history since they moved into cities and everything. Had 300,000 people during the first round, which is crazy. Great, I mean.
We had about 4,000 up at Public Hall. I was up there for the draft party up in Cleveland.
Party up in Cleveland, yeah, absolutely. And they have talked, because I've had people say, like, well, Cleveland could have done just as well if it wasn't for after COVID, this and that. I brought it up a while ago, but NFL has talked about giving Cleveland another date sooner than later, because they said, look, the turnout and the money we made after that was very impressive. They said, we know we could have made 4 times better than what we did. So, and they said Cleveland was such a great host that they said Cleveland will get it again sooner than later, just to make up for the fact that it happened after the...
Have they ever been in Canton?
Not yet. That's
where it belongs.
Yeah, I agree, but there's some work that needs to be done down there before it happens. And that's the idea. They're talking about, they're going to try they want all the teams to host at least one. Which would be because then Cleveland, being the team that so far might get a second one before everybody else. New York and Chicago already had it multiple times. I'm going back. Maybe Chicago only had it once. I can't remember, but I know Chicago was the first place outside New York, because they did it in New York for years. If you remember, Bob, it was there for like 30, 40 years. It was in New York. And then they did Chicago, then it was Philly, and I can't remember all of them, but I know Green Bay, Kansas City had it, and then Pittsburgh did a good job this year. And next year will be Washington, D.C., with the new stadium and everything. But it's going to be actually like in D.C. It'll be in front of the Capitol building is where they're going to put it.
In the National Mall,
right?
What they call it there.
Right. So it's going to be. I think it'll be beautiful the way they're having it set up, but to have it just in D.C. for the first time is going to be very interesting. So we'll look forward to that there. And by the way, I forgot to mention we are filming on Monday the 27th. So anything that has happened between the 27th and 29th we don't know about, so I just want to throw that out there. Going now, shifting gears to the Browns. If you told me what was going to happen, what happened was going to happen before Thursday last week, okay, if that makes any sense, I would have said, yeah, we'll be lucky if it pans out that way. I don't see it pan out that way. Bob, it panned out that way, and this is the best post-draft feeling I've had with them, if not for a while ever. Because they walked away with not just biggest needs addressed, they walked away with some of the top players in the draft, period. And they didn't do anything. I don't think anything weird, in my opinion, or crazy. We'll break it down real quick before I get into more detail. But when they sat at 6, just a review real quick, they traded down with the Kansas City Chiefs. Dallas Cowboys were not as aggressive as I thought they were going to be, but here we are. They traded down to 9 and ended up getting one of the top guys in their list. They say it's the top guy. I always question who was the top guy at the end of the day, but they ended up with Spencer Fano, offensive tackle out of Utah there.
Well, I knew they were going to draft a tackle.
Right.
Off the bat. That's one of the main things we needed.
Right, and they were talking closer and closer to the draft. They kept emphasizing, you know what, they really want to dress tackle. They really want to. And they got a guy here, big Hawaiian kid out of Utah, like I mentioned. He was right tackle his sophomore, junior, and senior year. However, he was left tackle as a freshman, and he was one of the best left tackles in the NCAA when he was. And the reason that they moved him was they got Caleb Lamo, who was drafted by New England, and that was a heck of a pick for them. And they liked him at left tackle, so they moved him to right. So he can play left tackle is what it is. But that's why they drafted. They told him straight up, they said, we want you to be our long-term left tackle. So they drafted him with the intent that he's going to end the left tackle streak that we've had since Joe Thomas retired. And, of course, they won that with Jedrick Wills back in 2021. But that didn't happen. He reminds me, I'm pulling this up, we were talking about Cleveland hosting the draft. This guy was drafted in the Cleveland draft. Penei Sewell out of, for the Detroit Lions. They drafted him. He reminds me a little bit of like him. Sewell's, again, was more right. He is a right tackle now with Detroit, but just similar body frame. Sewell might be a little bigger, but it's just that mammoth Hawaiian size. You know, they build them different down there, and there's been I'm not stereotyping here. It's a fact. There's been more Hawaiian offensive linemen and defensive linemen drafted the past 5 years, I think, ever. Just because they're building, I mean, they're big guys that are pushing them around.
Well, where did Anthony Munoz come? He was like one of those Polynesian type people.
Right.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot all about him.
I think he was from Hawaii, but Samoa or something.
Yeah,
one of those Polynesian type.
Yeah, I think
players.
Junior Seau may have been. May he rest in peace. I'm going by memory here. He may have had some Hawaiian in him as well. That was.
But they are. It seemed like they build them big down there.
Yeah. Not no diss at the guy, but not Dylan Gabriel, who was drafted last year, who's Hawaiian. Same thing with Marcus Mariota, just different size there, but they're the exceptions to the rule. But we welcome Spencer Fano there. As far as undrafted free agents, I know I haven't read everybody yet, but his brother Logan Fano signed with the Browns, so they're bringing his brother in too. He's a defensive lineman, so we'll see if he makes a team. At the 24th pick. This one I'm warming up to it more, and I'll tell you why here, but they went in. I told you last week that it was a potential alternative in my predictions that they could go this route, and they did, was Casey Concepcion, wide receiver at Texas A&M. Absolute highlight reel player, a little bit smaller, but he's more known for his speed, his agility, and his explosive play. And his hands overall are not bad. I mean, he had a 9% total percent drop rate his entire collegiate career, which is not bad at all. When the pick first came out, my gut went, I don't know about this. And it's not a knock on him. It's like I want him to work out for the record. I want him to be so good that he convinces me to buy his jersey, kind of thing. You know what I mean? I wanted a player to come in and be a threat for the wide receiver one, okay? And nothing against Jerry Jeudy. I like Jerry Jeudy. I want a loaded receiver group at the end of the day, which I think we do have now since after this draft. But I wanted somebody to come in and force Jeudy to step up because he had too many drops last year. And he didn't perform well. And if you get a guy that they're like, okay, if you're not going to perform well, we're going to throw this guy out there, it was to push him a bit. Concepcion's not a wide receiver one. They compared him to Zay Flowers, who Todd Monken coached at the Baltimore Ravens. And Flowers is a great wide receiver, don't get me wrong. And he is their number one in Baltimore. But the way he's built and the way he plays, he shouldn't be the wide receiver one, and that's why he's not put up wide receiver one numbers. He's put up more wide receiver two because he's not built. It's that smaller type of wide receiver that kind of just opens up the playbook with their speed and their ability to get an open field, and that's what when they picked him here, I was just like, well, you went out and got a wide receiver. I mean, he's good, and it's just going to help, but went out and got a wide receiver too. But I was also convinced, are we going to pick up another wide receiver in this draft? I will mention, I guess the New York Giants too had 2 draft picks. Giants drafted an offensive lineman after the Browns did. The Giants then drafted Averill Reese with the 4th overall pick. Okay, 5th overall pick, excuse me. And they were trying to trade up for a 3rd first-round pick because they said, we want Concepcion and we know Cleveland likes him a lot. Well,
we got him.
Right, they couldn't work out the proper deal to make it happen there. But now I feel better about it because we're going in the 2nd round, day 2, at the 39th pick. The guy I really wanted falls to Cleveland, and they select him. And that's Denzel Boston, wide receiver out of Washington. 6'4" guy, possession hands, the lowest drop rate in the NCAA last year. And that's over Jeremiah Smith, mind you. And the guy, he's got overall good speed. It's not the fastest, but he's got juke moves and agility. He's a 6'4" Puka Nacua. We had mentioned that last week about his ability, his comparisons there. He says he wants to model his game after Nico Collins, T. Higgins, and there's another wide receiver.
Big names.
Mike Evans, Hall of Fame name there. But because he has got that size. And when they picked him, I said, this whole thing just opened up. They got the help they needed. They bring in these 2 receivers. And I like that. Why I like the Concepcion pick better now with Denzel involved is you got now Denzel Boston, Jerry Jeudy that are going to be out on the sides. Concepcion will be too, but then you also got Isaiah Bond in the slot now with his speed and his ability. You got Harold Fannin up the middle. It just opened up everything where it's going to be in the favor of these receivers no matter what their position is with the team. And so just loading up that receiver room is something they really need to do. Then, they sat in the 2nd round a little bit longer, and one of the names they really wanted kept falling. They went and traded up. They took their own 3rd round, because they got it when they traded down with the Chiefs, they got a 3rd round pick and a 5th round pick along with it. So they traded their own 3rd and their 4th round pick to move up to the 58th pick. And they picked the first MAC kid off the board, 1 out of 4 of this draft, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, safety out of Toledo. This is a playmaker.
Yeah, he was tough. Yeah. He was tough in the MAC.
Yeah, we know it well, following the MAC.
We've seen him.
Yeah. Big guy, ball hawk, hits hard. Before he had an injury his junior year of high school. Before that injury, Miami and Indiana, the 2 teams that are in the national championship, and Maryland were all over him. They said they were ready to bring him in. He gets hurt. They backed off him, and he said, Toledo said, we're still with you. We know what you bring to the table, and we'd like to bring you in. And when Toledo was that loyal and kind to him, he said, I'm not leaving. He didn't want to go. He could have gone into the transfer portal. Other schools wanted him, especially with that money. And he said he's not leaving. He said Toledo showed him the love. He wanted to stay with them. And here he is, and next to Grant Delpit, this is going to be a good look. And I've been asking for the past few years, nothing against Ronnie Hickman. I like the guy, great player out of Ohio State. But I wanted a playmaker upgrade next to Grant Delpit, and we got it. They trade up to get him, and it's
good to see the MAC getting some love.
Right. Browns then traded out of the 3rd round and got 3 fourth round pick. I mean, not 3 fourth. Excuse me. 2 fourth round picks and a 5th.
Fifth round.
Yeah. 4th round for next year. The trade was with the Giants, and then trade out of the 3rd. Then they traded back up to 3rd, and I love this. The guy that was on my wish list. Okay, so then they traded the 4th round pick they got from the Giants, and another pick. and they traded up and got Austin Barber, offensive tackle out of Florida. 6'7" kid, big. I mentioned about him playing basketball last week in high school. He's got his mobility is great on the field because of that and his footwork. I asked them to load up the offensive line, get some good depth in there, and they finally did it. Along with Fano, they get Austin Barber. Some people were iffy on this pick, but I was like, no, with all the injuries they've dealt with, Barber's going to be a project. He's not going to come in and start or anything. Like, Fano will be your starter there. But it's going to be somebody that they kind of train to move around, and they got a good offensive line coaching staff there with Greg Warhop and his name is slipping my mind, but the kid out of Akron, he went to Hoban. I say kid, he's old. He's in his 50s. But I'd have to...
Is it, Porter?
No. He graduated from Akron, but he played for Miami, Ohio, I think. I'll look it up at break.
I know the name. It's on the tip of my tongue.
But so Austin Barber gets picked here. And so after day 2, everybody's feeling good. We go into day 3. There's no 4th-round pick.
Prior.
No, it wasn't that. They go to the 5th round, and with the 146th pick, they got a backup center in Parker Brailsford out of Alabama. Good. They needed center depth. Luke Weipler is probably going to be out for most of the season with his torn ACL he had late in the season. So they need somebody to back up the new guy. And I don't have his name in front of me, but the guy they got in free agency from the Packers. And this guy, he's going to be the backup there. With the 149th pick, they picked Justin Jefferson, not the wide receiver of Vikings. I tricked some friends with that one. Linebacker out of Alabama, tough kid. They got some special teams work for him to do. They're looking forward to that. With their 170th pick, their last pick in the 5th round, they had 3 total. Joe Royer, tight end out of Cincinnati. He did start at Ohio State first, get transferred to Cincinnati. He broke all kinds of tight end receiving records. Reminder, who also went to Cincinnati, Travis Kelce. So he beat his records too. And I mean, this guy, he is private. People were like, oh, he's a blocker. All his highlights are receiving. He's a receiver. He's got great wheels. This was an underrated pick here. With the 6th round pick, and this is what they won't shut up about. They need to settle down. It's not that serious. They pick quarterback Taylon Green out of Arkansas. And it's because it's a quarterback and they're hyped.
I told you they were going to take a quarterback.
I knew they would eventually.
Somewhere they're going to take a quarterback. I knew it.
Right.
And I think Gabriel's gone.
Not yet.
No, but I think he'll be gone.
He could be.
He's going to be a trade move.
We got to wrap it up here for the first segment here, but I'll say this. They picked him for his athleticism. There's a lot of things he's got to work for in the field. And I'll say, I watched when they picked these players, and I'm talking to them, hyping them about coming to Cleveland. When they picked him, that was the most stern Barry had been. Because he says, look, we like what you bring to the table, but we're going to work on this. We're going to work on that. We're going to work. He made it clear. He said, we have a competitive quarterback room, and you're going to need to work if you're going to stay with us. But at the same time, there's been a comparison to Terrell Pryor, former Ohio State quarterback, where they said, this guy could be a wide receiver. I mean, he had the top athletic score for a quarterback in ever. And so
I knew they was going to take a quarterback.
I mean, he's got the speed, he's got the height, he's got the build. But the thing was, he did turn over the ball a lot, and he was only a starter in the SEC with Arkansas for 1 year. So... when we come back,
that's true. They could probably be switching them over.
Right. When we come back, we'll finish up some of our draft recap, and then we'll get to the Cavaliers with a series tied at 2-2. We'll see what happens next for the Cleveland Cavaliers here. Stay tuned. Welcome back to 10 Cent Beer right here at FifthDimensionRadio.com. I'm Seth.
I'm Bob.
And speaking of Bob, Bobby Johnson was the name of the assistant offensive line coach I couldn't think of.
Bobby Johnson.
Yep. He from Akron, went to Hoban. He's bounced around.
I thought you were talking about a player.
No, assistant offense.
Because there was a couple like Paxton and
right
Porter. Those guys all made it to the NFL from Hoban.
Right. Right, absolutely. But no, this was the
Bobby
offensive.
Johnson, okay.
Yep. So he joined with Greg Warhop in Cleveland here. So he will help the new offensive lineman. Bob, you wanted to say something about?
Well, I'd like to congratulate the University of Akron's women's lacrosse team. They're in the MAC championship game as of Monday. So when this is on, you'll know if they won or lost. But congratulate them, and they're in the championship game, and this is only their second year in existence. So for the Mid American Championship. So I think it's pretty cool.
Absolutely,
lacrosse.
Congratulations to the softball team as well. They're going to be headed to, they're in Akron, but headed to Firestone Park there. Yeah, it's still called that, right?
Firestone Stadium, yeah.
Firestone Park's the area there. You don't want to play there, but yeah, the Firestone Stadium, where the old racers were, right?
Akron Racers, yeah. That's where the Mid American Conference Championships are held every year down here in Akron.
Right, and they were the number 1 seed, correct?
They're number 1 seed. Yeah, they won them. They won their first MAC title, overall title, since '96, I think it was.
Yeah,
so it's been 30 years.
It beat Ohio State recently too. So I mean, the girls are on fire right now. So it'd be nice to see them.
And they swept Kent State.
Yep,
they swept Kent State.
They beat them up one game too. I mean, it was 19-2 or something. I'm going by memory here.
Joey Annetta is probably jumping for joy because she was the last champion of Akron's ever had. She was the owner and founder of the Akron Racers, of the women's professional softball league. So
there you go. So we talk about the draft here. No Akron Zips drafted, but Mike. Is it Mike? Hold on. Give me 2 seconds here. Malcolm. Malcolm DeWalt IV did sign as an undrafted free agent to the Atlanta Falcons, joining former Browns coach Kevin Stefanski down there. Browns did have a Zoom meeting with him the week before the draft, and Packers brought him in for a workout, but he didn't get drafted. But we wish him best of luck in Atlanta. A lot of MAC players got drafted. We'll get there in a sec. But Ohio State had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 drafted, and at least one undrafted free agent, and C.J. Donaldson, the running back. And I can't remember the top of my head where he went. I'd have to look it up here. But, yeah, Carnell Tate went 4th overall to Tennessee. That was a shocker for me. 5th overall pick, Averill Reese for the Giants. Once he slipped from 2, I knew he was going to pretty much head to New York. Sonny Styles went to Washington in the 7th overall pick. Caleb Downs went to Dallas with the 11th overall pick. Dallas did trade up 1 spot to lock him down, Dallas had a very interesting draft there. Houston drafted Caden McDonald, the defensive tackle, with the 1st pick in the 2nd round. Max Clare, tight end, went to the Rams in the 61st pick in the 2nd round. Davison, I'm gonna butcher this name, but Igbinosun, cornerback, went to Buffalo in the very next pick after Clare. And in the 3rd round, Miami picked Will Kekmarek, tight end, with the 87th pick in the 3rd round. 17 tight ends taken in the first five rounds. That was the most ever in NFL history. In the 5th round, the Saints took Lorenzo Styles Jr., the cornerback there.
Brother of the other Styles.
Yeah, the older brother there. With the 6th round pick, Caden Curry, the defensive end, went to the Colts. And in the 7th round, Ethan Onienwa, the offensive guard, went to the Falcons there. But for the Browns, we were finishing up them. After Taylor Green in the 7th round, they picked tight end Carson Ryan. A lot of people from BYU, a lot of people are saying that this was a steal for the 7th round pick, because they said just his ability to catch the ball, another receiving tight end, which I love. I grew up on receiving tight ends, and then it kind of went quiet there for a while in the late 2010s, early 2020s, and now receiving tight ends is a thing again, consistently. And they said the thing about this kid is he's very tough. He can take hits. He can give them too, for blocking reasons, And they just said he's everywhere on the field. He's smart, but they just said he is just tough. He will I mean, he wasn't injury prone, but he'll fight injuries, and he goes out there and plays. So Browns at the end of the day had one of the better drafts, I feel, and I'm not just saying this because I am a Browns. I'm giving them an A. I'm leaving room for an A+. I gave them a B+ last year. It was an A draft. I'm giving them an A. They went out and they got 2 offensive linemen. They got 2 tight ends. They got 2 wide receivers. They did end up getting a linebacker. They got a safety there. My only complaint...
They got a quarterback.
Well, not that. It's normal for the record for teams to go into camp with 4 or 5 quarterbacks. That's normal. I mean, you usually don't hear about the 4th or 5th guy anymore after the last preseason game, but that part is normal. No, they didn't get a cornerback. And see, when Taylor Green's name was called, I thought they said cornerback. I said, okay, so they walk away with it. And then when I saw the quarterback logo, I went, oh, wait a minute, because I wasn't too familiar with him, to be honest with you. But I thought, hey, they need to lock up the 3rd cornerback situation.
Oh, well.
And they didn't. Now, there's still a lot of good free agents out there, veterans, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but they do have the cap space if they want to convince Tavon Diggs to sign a solid 1-year deal. That would be my preference. But again, I'm not going to bank on it happening. But that they do need to fill that 3rd cornerback spot with somebody. But as a whole, this draft went very well. I'll tell you, a lot of you have ESPN, you have NFL Network, you have CBS, all these grades I watched. A lot of them gave the Browns an A. Worst grade I think I saw was B+. And the reason was stupid. They drafted Austin Barber along with already having Fano. He said that they already had 2. They went out and got 2 tackles. They needed it. I thought that was a dumb reason to not give him an A there. But on the CBS page, they rated every pick an A up until the Justin Jefferson pick, and that was a B-, which, by the way, Justin Jefferson, Joe Royer, and Taylor Green were all B-. That was the worst draft grade they got out of everybody. So they were an A all the way from Fano to Parker Brailsford. So they just A's across the board there. Bottom line, they got their quarterbacks protection and weapons. And good protection and weapons. They revamped the entire offensive line in free agency, and they went out and got some good young receivers with some good hands on top of what they already have, because you still, aside from Jerry Jeudy, you still have Isaiah Bond. I think Cedric Tillman's going to have to fight for his job. I like the guy a lot, but he can't stay healthy. You also have, and his name is slipping my mind, but the wide receiver they got from the Jets last year. I'll look that up here. So I mean, they have. Let me see, Malachi Corley, and he's up. I think he's underrated. So they're loaded to the point. It makes you wonder what direction they're going to go, which is nice to say about this receiving unit for once. But so we're going to go to the quiet part of the offseason now, where they might do another trade or another signing or something, and see if anything pans out from there. But other than that, you're pretty much looking at your team here, and I'm looking. They got an updated depth chart here on ESPN how this is looking, and they do have 3 starting wide receivers with Judy Concepcion and Boston there. You got Harold Fannin there, but yet their new offensive line looks like Spencer Fano, Zion Johnson, Elton.
Are they rating the teams by who's had the best draft to the worst draft?
Some of them. I don't have that up there right now. But
I wonder who had the best draft.
Browns were definitely up there. I'm glad I was actually going to get to that, Bob. This is my opinion. Browns were up there. I think people didn't give enough credit. I really like what the Jets did. They went out and they got some starters, from day 1 and 2.
Well, they needed a lot of work.
They did need a lot of work there. But getting it, David Bailey, that's the one that we're going to be debating him and Averill Reese their entire career. Canyon Sadiq in the 16th pick, the tight end there. Omar Cooper Jr., the wide receiver. I really liked. See, that was when they picked Concepcion. You had Cooper Jr. and Denzel Boston still available, and I was like, I would have taken one of those guys instead. But they ended up with Boston too, so I was okay. D'Angelo Pons was one of my favorite cornerbacks of the entire draft, and the Jets took him at the 50th pick. They also got Darrell Jackson out of Florida State in the 4th round. Cade Klubnik, the quarterback out of Clemson, underrated pick. He was predicted to be the top quarterback picked in this draft at the beginning of last year's college season. Was not the case, but the guy does have a lot of talent. So if they're going to take a swing on a mid-round quarterback, it might as well have been him. I would say I was trying to think of who else there. I thought Dallas did okay too. The one that threw me off was when they picked Malachi Lawrence with the 23rd overall pick. I had him favored in the 3rd round for the Browns.
Really?
3rd round, and he goes the 1st round. And I was shocked, but I said, look, he's a good player. So I thought Dallas did okay there. I thought Green Bay did a little bit underrated. It was more mid-round picks because they traded first for Micah Parsons there. Kansas City did really damn well. I mean, they went and got some highlight reel talent along with what they already have. Raiders, with the 1st overall pick of Fernando Mendoza, there was a good mix of defense and offense this entire draft, and I thought they did overall solid.
What about my Bengals?
Theirs was weird.
They had a problem.
You know what? Bengals, Ravens, and Steelers draft was weird. It was, some people were high on the Steelers. Well, I was not. And this is not because I don't like I'll be honest if they do well or not. And I think I'm trying to think. I usually have a division foe ranked higher than us in the draft just because it's that way sometimes. But I can't say that.
With Tomlin going now and stuff, I look at to be a semi rebuilding year for the Steelers.
It might be. We'll see here. I liked their offensive line pick in the 21st pick. Their 47th pick, Gurmy Bernard. It's so up in the air what he's going to be like. A lot of people like his size, his ability, but he also had one of the lowest. I can pull it up here. There's YPRR for wide receivers. It's elite predictive metric. He had the lowest of the class. And I mean, to put in perspective, receivers with that low of a rating normally don't pan out, and so they're blowing this one up. This one threw me off. So in the 3rd round, Carson Beck goes to the Cardinals. Okay, I understand they needed a young quarterback to get a mid-round guy who might be a long-term backup. They already said Jacoby Brissett's their starter, so they bring in a guy with a little bit of hype, but not too much. The next pick, the Steelers take Drew Alar from a Penn State, the Medina kid.
Yeah.
Well, so that was the pick they used to trade George Pickens. So they traded George Pickens for Drew Alar, and now you're wondering, okay, now they have Will Howard. You're not sure if Aaron Rodgers is coming back, so their quarterback room right now is Mason Randolph, Drew Alar, and Will Howard. So it's congratulations to, because he is the Medina kid. And there's another kid I want to shout out to for local. It was up in the air where he was going to land, but Blake Miller, Strongsville kid, offensive tackle out of Clemson, went 17th overall to the Lions.
Yeah, always good to hear local kids make it.
Right, absolutely. So congratulations. And there's more local kids I know. I would have to dig it up a little bit, but those were like some of the top picks, Northeast Ohio there. This was just a draft where I looked and.
I said, I think Cincinnati's draft was horrible myself.
I didn't think theirs was very good. They did touch on pick. They did draft real quick. I'll bring this up. Tarkio Davis, the cornerback. He was Cassius Howell in the 2nd round, Texas A&M. He was with Bowling Green. Yeah. So there was a Mac background there. I didn't know that, and that's what Bowling Green was posting about it. And I was just like, wait, why did they talk about this kid? Well, apparently he played for them. Let's see, 2025. Oh, there he is. So he was there like either his 1st and 2nd year, just his 1st year. But
well, nowadays you can go to one school and next year go to another. With the transfer protocol. we're starting to see that in basketball a lot.
Right, right, and we'll get to that in a bit too as well. But I thought Ravens draft was a little bit different too. You get some good linemen there. They did get good wide receivers in Jacoby Lane and Elijah Sarrett. Two big receivers. They needed height on that receiving unit bad. So that's going to help them. A lot of tight ends. They even drafted a punter later. It wasn't a bad draft. Later.
Damn, you don't hear that very often.
No, 6th round they drafted a punter. So they had a decent mix there of all kinds of needs that needed to be addressed. So they walked away with some things, but it's a new era for the Ravens as well. But I thought Browns walked out with the best draft in division. I would say top 3 in the whole league. I'm not trying to be biased, but there's a case that to make them the best draft, the number 1. I mean, how much they walked away with, and still next year they have 10 picks, including now an additional 2 4th rounds they got from trading in this draft. So, I mean he's the draft.
I'll believe what happens.
Yeah, when we see it on the field,
I see it on the field.
I will say I'm with the fans. As far as what's changed, why was last year's draft better? Why does this one look good? We're wondering, and I'm speaking. Multiple of us are talking about it. If Di Podesto had too much say in the draft and the roster, and last year they told him, you know what, we're gonna let Barry decide fully what's best. We're not gonna go by just your analytics, because once he left or was told to back off, things got better.
Yeah.
And Stefanski had to turn his playbook to him weekly to get for analytic approval, which was wrong. I don't believe it.
Analytics is not the thing.
It's good with the draft at some points. Like, it's limited. There's the good and the bad side. I won't say bad, but there's the unnecessary side. Analytics are not going to tell you if the guy made a one-hand catch over
his back
over 2 offensive line or 2 linemen or something. You know what I mean? They're just going to say, well, this play worked this percentage time on the 2-yard line. They're not going to tell you what needed to happen to make it happen, And so
every time we talk about logistics, whatever, I always think of that movie Trouble with the Curve.
I knew you were going to break. Yeah. But it was the Moneyball guy.
He started it. But what was the guy's name?
Clint Eastwood was in it. Justin Timberlake was in it.
That Trouble with the Curve, Moneyball was Brad Pitt.
Right.
But Trouble with the Curve is logistics don't show you can't hit a curveball.
Right.
It does not show that.
Right.
But it don't show a lot of things.
No, and they
you
went
gotta
too
see it.
Right. I think they went too. I think that was another bad Haslam move. They went too deep into
it worked fine for Moneyball for the A's for a little bit when they started doing it, because the A's became one of the top teams.
Yeah,
in
but they didn't even do anything that year.
No. But eventually they ended up in the 70s and 80s. They had decent teams, but then it fell apart. I mean, it ain't logistics.
Yeah, but that wasn't logistics. That was early 2000. That was 2001 when Moneyball went down.
Yeah, logistics don't. It ain't.
It's not everything.
It ain't everything.
You got to use it properly.
You got to be there and you got to see.
Right.
You got to see it.
They got to live and breathe football. We got to take a break. When we come back, we're talking Guardians, Cavs, all that fun stuff. Stay tuned. Welcome back to 10 Cent Beer Night, our final segment of today, our final segment for April 2026. And going into May, this guy's going to Myrtle Beach next week. So you're not going to see him. It's annual Myrtle Beach trip, so we wish you safety there, Bob, there and back. Enjoy it. I know you have a lot of fun with the guys down there. You said no baseball game.
No baseball games. It's all golfing.
It's all golfing. Beware the Gators.
You know what happens in Myrtle Beach stays in Myrtle Beach.
Right. But be careful with the Gators there. I know you have to go around them.
Yeah. Last year we had this one laying right there in the green, man. It was a big sucker.
Right there, yep.
And he wasn't moving. Of course, he was sitting there watching us. I mean, we played through.
All right.
He never even moved. He must be used to it, I guess.
As long as they don't bother me, I won't bother them, kind of thing. Was he fat?
Oh, he was a big one.
Okay.
I mean,
I was wondering if he just didn't feel
yeah,
like
I'm
moving.
I'm sure somebody got too close to him, and they're in his belly right now.
I hope not, but that kind of thing does happen. But
And if guys were here, then they would tell you I hit a birdie last year.
you hit a birdie, or you
I hit a bird.
hit a bird?
I literally hit a bird.
Was it just a regular bird, or was this a?
I took a drive off the tee box, went down the fairway, and bam, hit this bird right there in the fairway. You know,
Did it fly away, or did you?
It flew away.
Okay.
But I hit it. I mean, it hit it. You could tell
That would hurt as a
it was
bird.
shocked.
I don't care how hard you hit that ball. That would hurt as a bird. Like that's.
But I got my birdie.
There you go. Enjoy that golf. Well, yeah, seriously, have a lot of fun down there, and we'll have a replacement for a fill-in. Excuse me. I
Try to
shouldn't say
we'll
replacement,
get somebody to come in and replace me.
We'll have a.
I mean, it's hard to replace this. Okay.
Yeah.
It's hard to replace.
Well, that's
this.
why I tell people. Well, it's also right now hard to replace my feelings towards the Cavaliers as well.
Yeah.
They lost game 3 and 4 in Toronto since our last 10-cent beer night. Now they're tied at 2. And game 3 was, it was understandable how they lost. Game 4 they should have won. Like no excuse about it. And just the turnovers. They moved the ball well, but some of the shots didn't go in. I don't think they played aggressive enough. They looked like they didn't want it at times, and that's what bothered fans. A lot of fans are upset at Mitchell for not playing well the first 3 quarters, Harden for his turnovers, and Mobley and Allen for their inconsistency. And I think the reality is they have to find a way to come through here. They're going to be at home. It will be Wednesday night. So while you're listening to this, actually, they'll be on ESPN. Makes us wonder who's going to be tuning into us during that time period, but that is what it is.
We got a loyal following.
Yeah, and we got replays on both the TV station and the radio station, so it'll be on again. But so Wednesday there will be at least a game 6, and it doesn't say it on here, but I'm predicting game 6 would probably be Friday, and then game 7, if necessary, would be Sunday. So game 5 is going to be in Cleveland on Wednesday. Game 6 will be
in Toronto.
It's in Toronto. Game 7, if necessary, is in Cleveland, so they do have home field. And I will tell you, if there's any series here in the NBA playoffs in the first round that is more likely to go to Game 7, it's when the 4th and 5th seed meet, because that's a pretty level playing field right there, as opposed to the others. So, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say Toronto was a cakewalk, because obviously they're not. But I will recognize that they did make it to the 5th seed for a reason. So, but they're going to have to bring it.
You got to remember, now the playoffs, this is a whole new season.
Right, absolutely there. Going into right now, again, some things will change by the time you hear this. Orlando's up 2-1 right now against the Pistons, and they're the 8th seed there. You have... let me see. Yeah, you have the Suns and Thunder. Thunder up 3-0. I think they're going to sweep them. I think that ends tonight. You have Nuggets and Timberwolves. Minnesota lost. I'm going by memory here. Their backup point guard. He's got a torn Achilles, so he's done. And then Anthony Edwards is out for a little bit. What did he do here? I'm trying to look it up here. He hurt himself. He's going to be out. He's out for the Wolves. Dante DiVincenzo.
He hurt himself.
Yeah, he hurt his knee, but he's okay. But he's going to be out. He might be out for the series. They're trying to look at the potential next series. But Dante DiVincenzo, yeah, he tore his Achilles, so he's gonna be out for a while. Like he's done this year, but he's gonna be out for a while after that. So they're gonna be without. They're up 3-1, but they're without Anthony Edwards and DiVincenzo right now. So that's not good. The Nuggets could force a comeback with that in mind, but we'll see. Minnesota's got them on their heels, right? And I'm shocked that one's 3-1 right now. Boston leads the 76ers 3-1 as of now. And by the time you hear this, it might be different, but I think Boston will win that next game there. Knicks and Hawks are tied at 2 as well. It could go any way. Hawks are playing better than I thought they were. San Antonio is beating up Trailblazers 3-1. I think San Antonio is going to win that series there. And then Lakers lead the Rockets 3-1. Kevin Durant has just not been playing. So, I mean, and then you have LeBron's hurt, but Bronny playing very well in the playoffs. Do it, so happy to see that. Happy for the kid. And hope he continues to progress in this young postseason. But he's showing highlights of his dad there that we saw back in the 2000s, I should say. Just with some of his passing and his dunking and everything like that. So that's where they are. The Cavs, though, stay healthy. Sam Merrill, who has a hurt wrist, he shot his best game yet in the playoffs last game, so I'm not too worried about it. Excuse me, but they got to figure it out. They got to just defend better, rebound better, and do everything better. Because you got to show you want it. Because if you could just squeak by this first round, I'm afraid what the second round's going to look like. And the second round's either going to be the Pistons or the Magic. And right now, the Magic got the lead. And the Magic want revenge, too. So, Cavs got to just figure it out here. Guards last week.
Oh, I struggled.
Yeah, they went 2-4.
Yeah.
They went 1-2 against Houston. Lost the first game 2-9. Won the second 8-5. And got shut out 2-0 on Wednesday. Went into Toronto. Won the first game 8-6. Then lost 3-5 on Saturday night, and then lost 2-4 on Sunday there.
And they're back to what it was last year. They cannot score when runners are in scoring position.
No,
they cannot hit. They're hitting some solo home runs and getting some runs like that. But when they got a guy on first and second, or a second and third with one out, you cannot even get one run in. They better go after some bats. They got to bring some kids up that are hitting down the minors and give them a shot.
Get Bazana up here already and see if he can fix it. DeLauder got an RBI triple, but this past weekend, but he's kind of cooled off a bit from his power swing. Jose had a good week, but no home runs.
No home runs.
But I mean, he hit the ball.
I think he had one. I think he did have one.
Quan is starting to heat up a bit. That's another guy that had a slow start that they were worried about there.
I know Saturday Fry had a home run.
Right. So good old Fry there, former All-Star.
But they just can't seem to score runs when they got guys on base.
Right. By the time you hear this, they'll wrap up a series against the Rays at home, and Rays are playing very good right now. Then they have Thursday off because they fly out to Sacramento to play the A's. And then by the time of our next 10-cent beer night, and they're on Guardians TV for all of these, and no big station changes. They're going to be at Kansas City for a 4-game series starting next week. So, and that's going to be brutal here, and I'll tell you why. Because right now, Guards are 15-14. As while we're reading this, they're tied with the Tigers, who had a bad series against the Reds. Bobby, the Reds kind of beat them up there. That was good to see. So they're tied there. Twins are 2.5 games back behind them. 3.5 games back at 11-17 are both the Royals and the White Sox there. So White Sox are hanging in there in the conversation. Royals are starting to pick it up a bit. I saw Witt Jr. hit his first home run of the year yesterday. So he's starting to get it together. And the American League East, the Yankees are on top 18-10. Rays are 16-11, a game and a half back from. So Rays playing well, and against the Guards, it's going to be a test. Then you have the Orioles 5 games back, Blue Jays 5.5 games back, and Red Sox who fired most of
their coaching staff and Cora.
Alex Cora, yeah.
Cora was fired.
11-17, and that was after he broke the losing streak, and they were just like, we just want you out of here. They promoted their AAA manager, Chad Tracy, if you remember him with the Diamondbacks. He will be manager, and they said Jason Varitek in the front office will actually have a bigger role with the team going forward. So
this is one of the worst starts in years for the Red Sox.
Right, so Alex Cora, and I think he won a World Series, right?
He won a World Series with them.
Yeah. So that's
But they haven't had a very good draft class in, we'll say, last 10 years.
right. Going to the American League West, we were just talking about how the Rays were playing. Bob, the A's are in first place in the West at 15 and 13.
In Sacramento, they're getting ready to go when they go to Vegas. They want to bring the fans out.
Right. Rangers a game behind them. Mariners a game and a half behind them. And then you got the Angels 3.5 games behind them. Astros 4.5. So it's anybody's division, the American League West here. As we're wrapping up the first month of baseball, I mean, a lot of these are close. I mean, I think the furthest one is the Red Sox in the American League East. I mean, that's the only one where it's like, okay, you got some work to do. Everybody else is pretty close and playing better than I mean, I'm looking at the AL East. I knew the Rays had some budding stars, and that we're going to need time to develop, and that a lot of their pitching was back. But second place, I didn't have that. Blue Jays took a little bit of a dip, but they're still there. In the American League Central, it's most part what I thought it was, but having the White Sox still in the conversation at this point is pretty impressive. I know they're 11-17 is nothing to write home about, but 3.5 games back behind first at that point. Why not? And then in the American League West, I knew the A's were going to be improved, but not above the Mariners. And I'll give the Angels some credit. They've played much better than people thought they would too.
Yeah, I think I had the Angels last. And then
I think I did too.
You know what? We're in April. We still got a lot of baseball left.
Right. You got the National League East. The Braves are 20-9. The only team, one out of 3 teams that has not lost 10 or more games yet so far. Second, the Marlins at 13-15. 6.5 games back. Nationals are 7 games back. Phillies 10.5 games back, and same thing with the Mets. They have the same record at 9-19. That's another weird one, Bob. The Braves are killing it right now, but you have the Marlins and the Nationals closer to playoff conversation. I mean, I know we're in April, okay, so I'm not jumping to the.
You got a long ways to go.
Yeah, but just.
I mean, last year we were 15 games out.
Right.
We won the division.
Right. National League Central, Cincinnati Reds on top, 18-10. Another great week for them.
They're doing really well.
Cubs a game behind them. Cubs lost the series to the Dodgers in LA over the weekend there. You have the Pirates, another good showing by Paul Skeens over the weekend, 16-12. Brewers are 14-13, and so are the Cardinals. So I mean that one's really close, and we did say that might be the division to watch as far as closer in battles for positioning goes. And I think we both had the Cardinals as pretty much last in that one. You may have had Pirates last, but I saw the Pirates.
I think I did have the Pirates last and Cardinals above them.
So there you go. In the National League West here, the LA Dodgers 19-9, Padres 18-9, Diamondbacks 15-12, Giants 13-15. They did win a series against the Dodgers last week, so that's good. Rockies 13-16, 6.5 games back, but 13-16 is far from the worst record in the league. And I mean, they're hanging in there too. They've been improved, and they won a series I think against both the Blue Jays and the Dodgers. I know they beat up the Blue Jays 13-1 or something one game, but can't remember if they won the series or not. But I mean, so they're beating these good teams is what I'm trying to say, and some of their guys are playing much better than I thought. But it is a crazy first month of baseball here as we'll wrap it up. But what's even going to get better is the weather's going to get better. You have May where things are going to start to heat up outside, and the bats and the pitching they're going to start to get looser, and you're going to see just better overall play. Memorial Day weekend around the corner. I know it's not for another month, but that's also a hot baseball time period. And then when the kids get out of school, then you're going to see more families and kids coming out to earlier games as well. So it's overall it's a great time of the year for the early baseball schedule here. Real quick, I want to bring up our Akron Rubber Ducks. Had a good week this past week.
I'll be down there. When I get back from Myrtle Beach, the first Thursday is one of my first games that I'll be going to.
Awesome, yeah. They went 3-3 this past week against. I'm trying to see this. This is a new team.
My brother bought me tickets for the Rubber Ducks this year because I bought him the ticket. I paid for the basketball, Zips basketball.
Yeah.
So he decided to buy me a 10-game package and put him in with his So I got one ticket. So I'll be going. I'll be going at least 10 games.
Good. No, it's going to be awesome down there. And yeah, I just lost my spot. I was trying to figure out who they played. And
Okay, they home this week?
they are. I'm pulling that up
I
now.
thought they were on the road this week.
Yeah, they're at home against Harrisburg.
Harrisburg Senators.
Right. Yeah. And that starts on Wednesday. So they have
Wednesday.
yeah they have Monday and Tuesday off. So it's a 4-game series at home, and then they will be playing the Richmond Flying Squirrels.
They usually play 6 games, 6 straight.
Yeah. According to, it starts Tuesday.
Yeah, because they're usually off Monday, and they play.
Yeah.
two-
Oh yeah. It was the promotions getting in the way of the schedule there.
I was going to say
Yeah.
because they're always Monday's a travel day for all the teams.
Yeah, it's Barberton fried chicken and hot rice for first 1,000 fans get a T-shirt
What
for
am
it.
I? I'm going to miss the Barber. That's tonight.
That's tomorrow. To our time Tuesday tomorrow. Yeah.
I'm gonna miss Barber and chicken and hot rice.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wednesday is going to be Broadway in the ballpark. Cleveland Playhouse Square is going to get involved in Paws for Claws. Will be there. Thursday is going to be Cleveland basketball night, and they can't say Cavaliers, but it's to celebrate the Cavaliers. And then
Why
$2.
can't they say Cavaliers?
Because
it's a Cleveland team.
yeah, but
It's owned by the Cleveland
I think
Guardians.
I think they would have to pay them or something. Because they did when they released a Browns Rubber Ducks hat with it Brown and Orange, it had to say Cleveland football. It couldn't say Browns. So there you go. Friday, Star Wars night, electric blue. They wear their electric blue jerseys, and that's a firework night, of course. Saturday, backyard baseball night. It's just a, and then they're doing a card pack giveaway with the Rubber Ducks too. And then fireworks, of course, and then Mascot Mania, along with Webster, Roberta, and Orbit and Homer. They're gonna have a bunch of friends at the ballpark. Probably Slider might be there with them being away.
Well, last year didn't they have? They had the dog from the Cleveland Browns, and they had Moondog.
With the Cavs in the playoffs, Moondog might not be there.
Yeah. Well, if the Cavs are on the road, then
They would be home on Sunday if there's a game. If there's a so there's your promotions there. You're welcome for the free plug, Rubber Ducks. We want to encourage people to get.
It's our local team.
Right, it's the local minor league team, and they're doing a heck of a job, and they're playing better too. So you can see better baseball all around as well.
I mean, it's one of the better, we'll say, draws in the minor league baseball. I mean, usually they're up there, one of the top in attendance, especially in the Eastern League.
Along with another former employer of mine, the Fort Wayne Tin Caps, who usually do very well in Fort Wayne, Indiana, San Diego Padres minor league team.
This is the first year we're going. Of course, we're going to Myrtle Beach. This will be the first year we will not see a Myrtle Beach Pelican game.
Yeah, they're away.
They're away. They're on the road, and we usually try to get down there when they're in, so we can catch. They're the single A club for the Chicago Cubs. So,
Right, absolutely. Hey, we got to go, guys. I appreciate.
We gotta go?
We got to go.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
So we'll see Bob in 2 weeks. We wish him well, safety down and back from Myrtle Beach. Next week, no matter who I have with us, we're going to talk Cavs playoffs. Hopefully, we're talking about the second round here. I really I don't want to have that off. I don't want to have an early offseason conversation. It's not going to go well. We're going to talk about the Guardians. We didn't get to the Columbus Crew. They did win this past week, and we'll talk about them. And we'll talk more also about the basketball transfer classes coming for Ohio State and Akron in basketball, and updates on Akron spring sports as well. So, with all that being said, I'm Seth.
I'm Bob.
Go Rubber Ducks!